Good evening. My name is Tony Cartucci, and you probably heard me before. I'll say it again. I was the ghostwriter for Friend from Yesteryear. I wrote the two books, Elvis, Aaron Presley, Death of a King, which is the latest one, and then the one almost 5 years ago, The Final Curtain, A Love Story Untold. Tonight, I will bring out some points, some of which you've heard before, but these are very important. Very, very important if you are a fan of Elvis Presley. And it's going to touch on the subject of his Jewish heritage. And we all know that Elvis was a Christian. Him and his mother, Gladys, embraced Christianity heartily, and they were Christians till the day they both died. But Elvis' Jewish heritage played a very big part in his life that many are not aware of. And the information I will just review tonight will help you all to see just how important it is and what we as fans must do. On the 15th of August of 2017, Larry Geller was a surprise guest on Elvis Radio out of Memphis, Tennessee. He was being interviewed by Jim Sykes. Jim posed this question to Larry, which surprised me. Larry, there has been some talk that Elvis was born a Jew. Do you know if there is any validity to that? Now, I guess Jim felt that since Larry was Elvis' spiritual confidant, that he might know whether this was true or not. Or was it no accident that Larry happened to be in the area and showed up as an unexpected guest on Elvis Radio, but rather was sent to calm the waters concerning this revelation that has been brought to the attention of the fans in Friend from Yesteryear's two books, The Final Curtain, A Love Story Untold, and Elvis, Aaron Presley, Death of a King. Were Elvis Presley Enterprises and Graceland officials involved in the decision to let Larry validate what the truth is? I highly doubt the subject of Elvis' alleged Jewish heritage would be up for discussion on Elvis Radio out of Memphis, Tennessee, without permission from Elvis Presley Enterprises or Graceland officials, or possibly both. It has been kept quiet for 40 years. They probably wouldn't have touched it with a 10-foot pole on Elvis Radio, where millions of fans could hear the truth from Larry Geller. So what was Larry's reply? Larry's reply to Big Jim Sykes was this: yes, indeed, Elvis was born a Jew, and so was his mother born a Jew, and so was his grandmother born a Jew. Larry then went on to say, Elvis took me over to see the grave marker he had designed for his mother Gladys. Elvis had the Star of David engraved on, along with a Christian cross. To the left, I saw the Star of David, and to the right, I saw the Christian cross. Larry then stated, you will not see that Star of David at Graceland. Nope, it's not there. Well, Big Jim was taken back when he simply said something to the effect of, oh, so he was. Now, this is very interesting to me and Friend from Yesteryear. We have talked about this. For the two books Friend wrote and released worldwide brought Elvis' Jewish heritage to the world's eye almost 40 years ago. Many have scoffed at this revelation and ridiculed the book because of this, but they apparently had missed the importance of why it had to be made known to the fans. Now, what's the point I'm getting to? It's this. When Elvis died on August 16, 1977, and was interred on the 18th of August, an alleged attempt to steal his body from the crypt supposedly occurred. So Vernon decided to bury Elvis and Gladys at Graceland after getting necessary permits. When Vernon buried the two of them, he did not honor his son's wishes. Gladys was not given her Star of David at Graceland. This can be witnessed if you go to Graceland. A cross is there, but no Star of David. Why? It was Elvis' home, Elvis' money. Elvis secretly kept Jewish heritage between him and his mama. Mind you, Vernon was well aware of this, as he was the one who wanted it to remain secret, and so in 1977, after his son Elvis dies, Vernon then apparently chooses not to honor his son's gift to his mother, the Star of David, when he has them both buried. My question for us as fans of the King is this. 40 years have passed and not one of Elvis' so-called friends has ever mentioned this to the public. If Friend from Yesteryear's 2 books were not released to the world, it would still be unknown to the fans. Fred has been kept silent for 40 years since Elvis' death, and nothing has changed at Graceland's Meditation Gardens. Why, after 40 years, no mention of the Star of David missing from Gladys' grave marker? Why has it now been brought to light on Elvis Radio out of Memphis, Tennessee after 40 years? Remember, Larry Geller said, "You will not see it at Graceland, for it's not there." Now that was a very interesting statement. Why do you think Larry told the world that the gift Elvis gave his mama when she passed away on August 14, 1958, is not present at Graceland on a grave marker, and you will not see it there? I'll give you a few seconds to figure it out. Have you got it? Here's the answer. Or is it the answer? I'll let you decide, okay? First of all, as we said, never in 40 years since his death has anything been discussed by Graceland officials publicly about Elvis' secretly kept Jewish heritage. Now what happens? Friend from Yesteryear's books are released to the public, and the cat is out of the bag. Many are questioning the validity of his books, and whether or not Elvis was truly a Jew by birth. So it appears Graceland and Elvis Presley Enterprises allowed Big Jim Sykes to ask the question, and then to have Larry Geller state that Elvis had a Jewish heritage. This now puts everything up front, out in the open. But Larry also offers that bit of information. The Star of David is not seen at Graceland. Yes, you will not see it there. So then, it was not honored by Vernon when he buried his son and mother in 1977. We recognize that. Now, all the authorities in modern times are in the clear. They wait. They wait. Will the fans complain that Gladys is not properly honored at Graceland? You know, there's an old saying, a squeaky wheel gets the most grease. So no noise, no action, friends. Do we as fans truly love who this man Elvis Presley really was? Do we really love him, but only in word? What do I mean by only in word? Well, you know, we make the comments, oh, he was such a good-looking man. Oh, no one could come close to his singing. No one will ever be as talented as that man was. His gospel singing was untouchable. And to many of us, it was a heartfelt prayer from Elvis to the Almighty. And some of us were drawn within that prayer. Or do we love Elvis in word and deeds? Deeds of fine works. Where are the voices? Out of millions of fans, there is one old-timer from the days of yesteryear who has used the last years of his life to set the record straight and to see to it that the gift the poor boy from Tupelo gave to his mother is restored to her grave marker at Graceland. He's used his time, research, memories, and treasure, all to right a wrong, to bring justice to the poor boy from Tupelo. He has given most of any profits from his 2 works of incredible value to a number of charities. He has no need for money. His life has been filled with love for his fellow man and for our friend Elvis Presley. What has been his reward? Ridicule. And why? Because he remains anonymous. How good can an author be if he's afraid to put his name out? He's got a picture of a dumb cat on the back of the book. Well, he remains anonymous, yes, adamantly refusing to bring any honor to himself. For he has said, the honor goes to the king, not to the servant, of which he humbly claims to be. Is his quest to rewrite that portion of Elvis Presley's life which has been kept secret from the record books, an impossible dream? My dear friend from yesteryear sees this as a large mountain that he must climb. If you're a fan, then please don't let this man climb it alone. For he's set on taking care of business just as Elvis would have done to see that his mother's grave marker beyond it with the gift he gave her when she passed, the Star of David. So what can you do? Write letters. Contact your fan club presidents. Tell them what you have learned from this video. Tell them you want Elvis' love for his mama recognized with the gift he gave her when she passed. Tell them about the 2 books Friend from Yesteryear has written. They explain very clearly an extremely complex story of treachery, deceit, outright attempts of character assassination, love lost, and a love story about his mama never told before. Contact Lisa Marie and plead with her to honor her father's mother, her grandmother, by replacing the Star of David on her grave marker at Graceland's Meditation Gardens. Call Graceland. Let them know how you feel. Call Elvis Radio. Tell them you want justice done. Go on Twitter and make it known that you want to see justice. Have your Facebook friends all post the 2 books available which will explain all we have discussed. Tell them to curtail their vacation plans of visiting Graceland. Boycott the souvenirs, records, DVDs, CDs, postcards, trinkets sold at any portion of Graceland's exhibits. Boycott the so-called guest house that has but one solitary picture of Elvis in the lobby by the staircase mimicking the staircase that would lead to Elvis' bedroom at Graceland Mansion. Out of 450 rooms, not one has a picture of the king. Oh yes, it is decorated with a 1950s decorum. But the 1950s without Elvis Aaron Presley is a mirage, phony, not real, a false face of what its appearance claims to be. It's not a guest house. It's the Hotel of Mammon, the Hotel of Money. How does that make you feel as a fan? Does that make you feel at home with the spirit of Elvis, with the spirit of Elvis memory? When not one room out of 450 has a picture of the king? Or are you sitting in a hotel devoid of any feeling of heart for the poor boy from Tupelo? By the way, don't forget, you'll have to pay the price to park your car at the hotel where you will be spending a fortune at. And no pictures of Elvis, no honor for his mother at Graceland. What would Elvis say if he could speak to us about what is going on at his mother's home, Graceland? Remember, Elvis bought that home for her. What would he expect from us? That's a question we all need to ask ourselves, and one day probably have to answer for. Last year, on August 15, 2017, the night of the candlelight vigil, we had to pay a fee to walk up the driveway of Graceland's mansion to pay our respects to Elvis' memory. A fee. Now, I don't remember. I paid for so many different things when I was there. If it was $17 and change or $24, but it was just the thought of having to pay your respects. It's like going to a funeral parlor and someone charging admission for you to come in there to say a prayer for the deceased. And if you needed a candle, it also had a price. I believe it was $5. Yes, the god of mammon, money, has seated itself on the king's throne. To all appearance, it seems the throne of honor has been taken away from the poor boy from Tupelo, and Elvis Presley Enterprises and Graceland officials have seated themselves prominently in that position of honor. Again, the poor boy from Tupelo and his beloved mother are denied justice. No justice in life, no justice in death. But the money keeps rolling on in. So how important is Elvis' Jewish heritage? It's this important. The fact that the Star of David has not been engraved on Gladys' grave marker proves undeniably that Elvis Presley did indeed pass away on August 16, 1977. Had he faked his death, you could bet your life you could bet your life that he would have taken care of business and saw to it that his mama would be honored with the Star of David at Graceland, just as he had taken care of business at Forest Hill Cemetery in 1958 when she died. And now, with the uncovering of the third birth certificate found after 40 years in Gladys' garment and souvenir chest, we come to see how much his Jewish heritage was also cherished by young 18-year-old Elvis. For on December 28, 1953, he had his birth certificate changed from Elvis Aaron, A-R-O-N, to Elvis Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, and then presented to his mama, in secret, the guarantee that his name would go down in history as Elvis Aaron Presley, the name his mother originally gave him. This third birth certificate was a secret they, mother and son, kept between the two of them. Vernon was never told. When Vernon went to get the permits to have them both buried at Graceland, he was shocked to find out that the name had been changed from Aaron to Aaron. He had no clue as to how it came about. And if you check Elvis Presley Enterprises' official guidebook, it'll tell you that Vernon did not understand why the name had been changed. But it was Elvis who did it. And he was only 18 years old. Yes, the Star of David should be returned to Gladys' grave marker at Graceland. An 18-year-old teenager knew how important it was for his beloved mother, and now we all know, thanks to Friend from Yesterday's book, which exposed the third birth certificate for what it really is. The gates of Graceland, the gates of Memphis, have not said much about that birth certificate. They just have it displayed. No clue to what it's about. And so it sits on the wall at Elvis Memphis exhibit, screaming for the public's attention. It's as if Elvis was speaking to all of us from the grave. Perhaps it might be something like this, he would say to us. My friends, my Jewish heritage was made known by Friend from Yesteryear 5 years ago to the fans. And Larry Geller on Elvis Radio, after 40 years on August 15th, 2017, made it known for those who have not read Friend's 2 books. You now know how I felt about my mama's Jewish heritage. It's important to her and to me. I honored her when she died with the Star of David on her grave marker. I showed it to Larry Geller. When I was 18, I had my birth certificate changed to the name my mama gave me originally, Aaron, A-A-R-O-N, the first high priest of the ancient nation of Israel, and he also was the brother of Moses. My daddy, when I was born, changed my name from Aaron to Aaron. So on the second birth certificate where my name was listed by Daddy as Elvis Aaron Presley, became the birth certificate of record until I changed it in 1953. But now I see it has been 40 years since I died. Daddy buried me and Mama at Graceland, the home I bought for her. I took care of business when I was 18 years old and had it changed back to what Mama gave me, Elvis Aaron. But never did we tell Daddy. It was a secret. A sacred secret between Mama and I. We kept it between the two of us. We never revealed it to anyone, especially to Daddy. When burying me and Mama at Graceland, Daddy had no choice but to use the name I put on my birth certificate in 1953. And so my name is not a misspelling. I lived my life as Elvis Aaron, A-R-O-N Presley, the image I was to the world. But my real name, Elvis Aaron, A-A-R-O-N Presley, would only be seen after my death. Why did I pick that year, 1953, to change the spelling of my name to Aaron, A-A-R-O-N? Why not later? Read Friend from Yesteryear's 2 books, The Final Curtain, A Love Story Untold, and Elvis Aaron Presley, Death of a King, Friend from yesteryear explains it all in great detail. Believe it or not, he is the only person on earth who knows why I chose to do what I did, especially when I did it, for it increased the value of my gift tremendously to Mama. But what saddens me is I don't see the Star of David on her Margaret Grayson's meditation gardens. Why? Will someone please restore it to its proper place? Please see that my love for Mama be seen at Grayson. Let this story be told. I cannot do it on my own. Only you can make it happen. Please, TCB. Well, I think that's a fair summation of what Elvis might have told us if he could speak from the dead. All you really need to know is how much he loved his Mama. The rest would all fall into place, and you would understand. Yes, friends, what is not seen at Grayson is the proof that Elvis has been dead for some 40 years now. For as we said, not a day would have passed without his beloved mother's cherished Jewish heritage being honored at Grayson. This she cherished greatly in silence all her life till the day she died. Elvis knew. He never forgot. So in the end of her life, he honored his Mama by having the Star of David engraved on a memorial marker at Forest Hill Cemetery, Memphis, Tennessee, USA, on August 14th, 1958. Will this love story continue to be silenced forever in death as it was in life? Will Friend from Yesteryear's two books, The Final Curtain, The Love Story Untold, and Elvis Aaron Presley, Death of a King, succeed in its quest to right this cruel injustice? Only if all the fans understand, truly understand. And that understanding will only come through Friend from Yesteryear's two books. Elvis has indeed left the building, not until justice prevails, and we see his final gift to his Mama restored to its proper place, will the King return. You visit Grayson, if you decide to, after hearing this information. But if you go, or if you've already been there in the last year or so, you will see and feel the truthfulness of my statements. You will then know that Elvis has indeed left the building. It's evident all over Graceland, with the attitude of the workers, the service at the eatery, the lack of any pictures of Elvis in any of the 450 rooms of the so-called guest house, the exorbitant prices for admission, and then the herding of the fans through like cattle through the exhibits. Yes, the King has left the building. It reminds me of a song Elvis sang long, long ago. Its title, It's a Matter of Time. A few words of it went like this. It's a matter of time before I go back there. It's a matter of time before I go home. It's a long way, I know, but the going ain't easy. I'll see you again. It's just a matter of time. Will the injustice to Elvis and his mother Gladys continue on? When will true love be shown for the poor boy from Tupelo and his Mama? The historical record of Elvis' undying love for his Mama must always remain a part of the story of his life. It was part and parcel of who and what he was. It is the love story untold. It's up to us, the fans, to make known the existence of these two books. Pass the word. Never let it be said that we, the fans, didn't take care of business. And now, here's just a short little note. It's a parallel between a very famous man and, of course, Elvis Presley. This famous man's name, you'll recognize it immediately, was Albert Einstein. Albert Einstein was born in Germany to Hermann and Pauline Einstein, and it was in the year of 1879 that he was born. Both Albert's mom and dad were German Jews. 47 years after Einstein's death, which occurred in 1955, in the summer of 2002, Israel canceled an Einstein exhibit planned to be on display during the month of September in China. This exhibit was to be some 4 months long during the month of September. It was 4 months long, and it would go through September into the next months. And it was to travel from Beijing, then on to Shanghai, and on to a number of other cities, Chinese cities. The exhibit would include 30 display boards, all with photographs and information about Einstein's personal and professional life. But the exhibit was canceled by Israel because the Chinese Ministry of Culture wanted to remove all references to Einstein's Judaism, especially in the latter part of his life when Einstein and his identity with Jewish people were inseparable. To remove this aspect of his life would have been telling only part of the story of who Einstein was and why he made the decisions he did. Friends, you see the parallel here between Einstein's life and Elvis Aaron Presley. In the last year of Elvis' life, he made it clear to those with eyes to see that he was now honoring his gift given to him through birth from his mama Gladys, his Jewish heritage. This he displayed by wearing only his Jewish symbol for life, L'Chaim, along with the Star of David, around his neck throughout the entire 1977 Final Curtain concert series. You'll never see that series released by Elvis Presley Enterprises or Graceland. Or maybe we will, if these books are read and the fans follow through. Elvis' Christian cross was not worn during that entire last year of his life. All of this is seen in pictures in both books. In Elvis Aaron Presley, Death of a King, the pictures in there are in beautiful color. Also, you'll see the birth certificate, the third birth certificate, and, of course, Gladys' grave marker both at Forest Hill Cemetery and at Graceland. If the State of Israel felt it was proper to cancel the Einstein exhibit because the Chinese Ministry of Culture wanted to remove all references to Einstein's Judaism, does that decision about Albert Einstein's Jewish heritage and how he viewed it help you to see how important Elvis' Jewish heritage and the gift Elvis gave his mama, the Star of David, was to him? How do we make it right? How do we right the unwritable wrong? Is it really unwritable? That, my friends, is up to you. Remember, the love Elvis had for his mama and the love she had for him was unbreakable. Read the 2 books. They will uncover even more about the life and times of Elvis Aaron Presley. The pen is mightier than the sword. Use it, my friends. Read those books. Share what you learn with other fans. Let this be something that goes around the world, and that we have justice eventually come to Elvis, and the king can return home. I am Tony Cartucci, and I was the ghostwriter for Friend from Yesteryear. TCB, my friends, take care of business.